Hey guys.
I hope Angela's going to be coming.
Joss, I've never seen you with a blazer.
Well, the reason why it took me like my hair is like wet and I had to put it in like a clip and a bun because I actually got a call back for a comedy series
Oh,
that is I didn't realize, but our assistant producer over here was my reader for me. and and I needed to get it done. So we quick zoomed ahead of our call for the podcast so that I he could run lines, so Frankie could run lines for me. But yeah, so I'm potentially going to be a character in a potential comedy series that will be shooting in LA or New York or the East Coast, possibly this summer if I get the part. So
ooh, fancy.
That's
yeah,
exciting. That's
it's
so cool.
I had this like epiphany last night, um, where there's my microphone, sorry. I just had this epiphany last night that okay, assistant producer Frankie in your chat notes.
Mm.
I, the character's name is Mary J. Blige. And so it's
What?
a little bit funny. Just to give you a little sneak taste into why it's a kind of a spoof comedy series. So I can't really go into like any more than that, but it's kind
Right.
of funny because of who I am, right? So, anyways, it's just and I really do feel like my archetypes are like the banker, the lawyer, I can do bartender, I can do, real estate agent. I'm really discovering my archetypes. So, and with acting on camera, yeah, so and that's what I was saying. I had this epiphany last night that I've been frustrated. We're here to talk about like what was our strategy in the beginning when we started voiceover, and then what is our strategy now. And I was really thinking about that because I've been pretty frustrated recently with just voiceover in general, like just voiceover for multiple reasons. There's been drama on platforms, just there's a lot of people on the platforms, there's a lot of competition, and just been really frustrated trying to figure out where's my place. And is my strategy really working, the one that I had originally started from the very beginning? And then I realized that I've been feeling a little like stickiness, like a little resistance and like just straight up voiceover. But I'm finding that being on camera, that ball's really rolling, and it's going it's rolling in the right direction. And I had this epiphany that sometimes you just have to go where the energy flows. You know what I'm saying? You just have to go with it. And sometimes the strategy that you start off with isn't necessarily going to be exactly the way that you think it's going to go. And you have to adjust along the way. So I'm going to leave it to you guys now because I've been talking a lot.
Mm.
Thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it makes sense. Like, just because you're focused on one thing doesn't mean that you can't shift towards things that you see opportunities in, right? And like, you know, as has been said before, voice acting is acting,
Yeah.
so it's a skill and vice versa, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're, oh, I'm not doing voice acting anymore. It's just like, oh, well, on camera stuff is working well, and you're gonna pick up skills from on camera stuff that you can use in your voiceover stuff.
Mm,
You
definitely.
know,
Yeah. What do you think, Gabby?
Well, I love that you're flowing with the ball because I don't think you lack talent. I think the talent's there. You just haven't found your your place. You haven't found the right people or whatnot. But you're starting to.
Yeah.
You're starting to, and these little breadcrumbs, they're there for a reason. So
Yeah,
don't give
that's
up.
true. That's true. Well, and now that we're on me, so I'll just like, and then we'll move on to you guys where you're at. So like from the beginning of voiceover, I was like very strategic about everything in terms of my training and getting my demo, and I had everything like all plotted and planned out, and to keep myself on track because I feel like it's really easy to get off track. So if I don't have a plan and adjust as I go, then I feel like I can get off track really easily. and I, got my demo, and I started out on the pay to plays, and I went on, and I slowly started adding different pay to plays into the mix because I needed to increase the number of auditions I was able to receive in order to be able to like play that numbers game, right? Because that's your whole job is auditioning. And then I ended up, because of Frankie, our assistant producer, getting into the world of acting on camera, which I was just doing it in order to gain the tools for voiceover. And then here we are, so my plan was just to like gain more training, where I'm at. I'm going into my second year of launching my business, and using on camera as more training for voiceover. And it's interesting because I'm, like I said before, I'm finding that I'm getting more sticky resistance in just the straight up voiceover stuff, but the on camera stuff is actually really working. The ball is going in the direction that I'd like it to go. Even for voiceover on camera, just doing voiceover on camera has been working out better. And so I guess like my immediate plan in being in my second year of my business, there's a lot going on here today. My second year of my voiceover business is I am leveling up my website. I've rebranded myself. I've refreshed, rebranded. I hired a management company to help me do that because I had already branded myself. Fully branded myself, but I really felt like I needed to put my bestest foot forward. So I hired a management company. That's my personal choice and my personal journey, part of the journey. I have a son who's now in voiceover, and now he's being branded, and I am also adding him to my website. I've also leveled up coaching. I've expanded my coaching. We have our home base where I've continued to coach on a regular basis with our ongoings, because I feel like it's like working out with a team. I played soccer my whole life, and working out regularly with a team is very conducive to continuing to build and grow while you're auditioning and going, and you still go to the gym, right? So I'm leveling up my coaching, and I don't, and then I'm really diving into this on camera stuff. So that's kind of like my thing right now. So, and just like following where the energy goes and where it flows, and it's less sticky, I'd like to
I
get
love
on
that.
some commercial, like on camera commercial
Yeah.
stuff would be great. My main goal right now is that I know what my bottom line is. Like, I'd like to earn a certain amount of money every month. And then I've got it down to like how much I would like to earn each day. So it's
Okay.
like each day I want to make
Yeah.
like, let's say around number $200, right? So every week I want to make 200 times 5, right? Because I want to work Monday through Friday. And then go into like how much I would need to make per week and then per month. That's my game plan. And my game plan is to, continue with training regularly with the TVAS with our ongoings for a full year, and continue to level up my my coaching and get my youngest son involved in voiceover he's getting coaching done now and getting him up and running. And and then come fall, winter time, I think I'll have a better idea of what will be going into my third year, like what's working, what's not working, where do I need to trim the fat, air quotes, you know what I'm saying? Like, what pay to plays are not working for me, which ones I'm not going to renew, and
Right.
yeah. So, and it's really true. Like, what you think that you're starting off in voiceover that you're going to do doesn't necessarily, because now I'm working with the Women's Meditation Network, and I'm writing. Hopefully there's growth and room to produce potentially. And, and she's brought me on to do voice work as well. So that's like my big win, my second year of my business. So that's where I'm at.
That's so cool.
Who's
That's so
next?
cool. Yeah.
Who's next? Gaby, you want to go next, or you want Lloyd to go next?
You can go ahead, Lloyd.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Angela.
Okay. Hi, Angela.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
I got to fix my, oh, you can.
kind of.
Yeah.
You're a little muted.
I'm-
You sounded like you're a little
I'm
bit
in the car.
underwater.
I'm gonna figure it out. Go ahead, whoever was talking.
Let's hear
Okay.
Lloyd's.
Um,
Lloyd, what was your strategy when you started off, and then like where are you at now? You have a lot going on too.
yeah. Well, I guess the question when you say when I started off, were you starting from
Your demo,
like the
yeah.
very beginning? Yeah. Okay. Um, my strategy, uh, I wanted to do a certain amount of auditions a day.
Yeah.
And I'm only on, well, I'm on a couple of pay to plays, but I'm only paying for voices. Um, Still taking my classes. Um, I am not auditioning nearly as much as I want to, which is really annoying because it's like just life stuff. I had to, I went out of town for a week to help a friend with some stuff they were going through. Now my family's moving, my computer's not even hooked up, you know, and still gotta like I'm trying to get an apartment. So like I can't really audition until I have all my stuff because I don't use a laptop. I have my desktop. Um, but my goal ever since I got my demo, and this is still my goal, though I am absolutely not on track for it. Um, is to be able to go full time by August. Now, for me, the things that need to change is one, I need to be able to one thing is I've lived with family since the beginning of the pandemic, and so one thing I've had to deal with is like kind of surrendering to the whims of like just life in a house with multiple people. You can only audition at certain times. Sometimes people are loud for whatever reason, or on video calls the dog's barking, there's jets flying over. You know, so like I'm looking at an apartment now that is not by like any major flight paths, which is dope. And I won't have a dog, though my mom is really trying to push the dog on me. Um,
Peanut butter. Is his name peanut butter?
yes, yes. And admittedly, I may be peanut butter's favorite person, but I don't. I right now I don't think I'm in a place where I can like. I wouldn't have a place for him to go out, and use the bathroom and stuff. It's like, and I'm not home that often, you know. Uh, Another big thing for me, which I don't think takes away from voice acting, I think it takes away time. It has taken away time a few times from voice acting. Is improv, which I've gotten wildly involved in, like
It's
to
awesome.
a ridiculous degree. Um, but that has, helped me in so many ways. Just uh, having the skills to be able or building the skill that allows you to respond honestly, but also like listen intently and gosh, it's so hard for me to explain right now.
No, you're
um
good.
but no, it's helped me in so many ways, definitely with my confidence. I didn't tell you guys this, but well, you probably knew through Instagram. I am in a group called Fluorescent Beige. That's our improv group. We all started in August. The group started with 8 people. Now it's only 5. We're the only all black improv group that we know of in Vegas, which is dope. That anybody like we've asked a lot of people. Okay, so like I can't say it definitively, but like very high chance for the only all black improv group, which is super dope. We had our first ever show that like we put together, produced, came up with like the format, whatever, did that last Friday. And we sold out, which was like super awesome. And the show went great. And the thing for me that kind of solidified how improv has changed me as a person. And this is so both it just so happened that my stepmom and my dad and my youngest sister were all visiting, so they all came to the show. and then my stepdad and my mom came to the show. So both sets of parents in the room in a show where I have no idea where it's going to go, and the themes are unpredictable. I'm very happy I did not invite my grandma because,
That's hilarious.
well, here's the thing. At one point, my character became Big Dick Black Jesus.
Oh my God.
And,
All right, let's reel this in. Reel this in.
and I'm like, yes, and I'm just like, how much do I want to commit to this in front of my parents? And it was like, if you've ever heard the phrase "fuck it, we ball," that's where, and I was like, yeah, if you had told me in August that I would be up on a stage in front of a room full of people and both sets of parents
Yeah.
saying the things we did and said, I would fight you for the drugs you're taking. Because so yeah, like I've become so involved in that, and it's really helped me, and I think it helps me, like, when it comes to, reads where there's a little bit of room for improv, especially character stuff,
Yeah.
you know, um, just being able to build and like think about, and this is still specifically character stuff, thinking about like how you can build off of what little is there to make that character your own.
Yeah.
That is my dog, right? Can you hear him?
Yes, peanut butter.
Exactly. Peanut butter. This is what if I was in an apartment by myself, I wouldn't have to deal with.
Right.
You know. But
yeah,
I think like I've been thinking about it a lot as far as like what it's going to be like when I move into my apartment. And one thing it's going to be like where I am, the apartment I'm trying to get is closer to my job and everything else in my life, like travel wise.
Yeah, that's
Which means I have
important.
more time to be at home and audition,
It's important. Yeah.
And I just want to start hitting auditions hard. I'm on a couple of rosters, which is dope. But they both sent me stuff I haven't been able to do. It's just like, oh, we want an old person, or like we want somebody with this accent. I'm like, dang it.
But you're getting sense stuff though. Like I
Yes,
think,
yes.
I think like your strategies are pretty good though, like finding your own place and, making sure it's like a thing in Las Vegas to be away from flight patterns and
that's
and
true.
airplanes and, maybe not taking the family dog because you might not have the time. So those are all good strategies.
Yeah.
And again, like the improv thing is kind of like the on-camera stuff. Like you just were open to the experience. You didn't really strategize it. And now it's like a part of you and you're just kind of rolling with it. Sometimes just going with it and not strategizing is also important,
Yeah. And I started taking improv because you guys all know Brent Kai. He was like, if you want to do character stuff specifically, you're gonna have to have really strong improv skills.
Yeah.
And
It's a
in
strategy.
improv, you're always playing characters.
Right.
Yep.
They're part of you, but like in the sense of the scene, it's
Yeah.
not you. You have relationships with these other people and things in the world, and you have to know how you feel about somebody wearing the color red and why that is.
Interesting.
Which is really helpful when you look at a character audition and somebody's yelling, but you don't know why. It's like, okay, what's your reason for why they're yelling?
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's interesting because, like where I'm at in my career is different than where you're at, right? And like the things that I'm thinking about what I was thinking about from the beginning when I got my demo and versus where I'm at going into my second year of starting my business is different than where you're at. You're still in your first 6 months of getting your demo, getting up and running on the pay to plays, setting your audition goals, and I think it's awesome that you're doing improv, especially with the looking at your future going into character, which leads me to Gaby because she's also into character stuff and she's at a different place in her career. So I'm curious as to like where you're at right now, like where you started off and like where you came from, and then we'll move to Angela when she gets herself situated.
My plan was always characters and going into characters, and doing some stuff in Spanish, but I remember I wanted to really land a couple in English, which I have since, but I've been getting booked a lot more in Spanish than in English, which has been pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize how big the community was for Spanish speakers, but not like Spanish speakers that were raised in Mexico, but Spanish speakers that were raised in the States, which doesn't seem like there's much of a difference, but there really is when it comes to speech patterns and like tones and everything. Even certain ways of saying something. So it does differ. And so that's been pretty cool. And that's been leading me, like that just led me down politics. And I did a commercial for a campaign, which was interesting. And it was pretty cool because it was a campaign, but it was mixed with like this Disney feel that they wanted. So I got the best of both worlds because I got to do like a character, but it was also like political, and it was in Spanish, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, so right now I am trying to flow with it as well. And yeah, we'll
Are
see
you
where-
on a bunch of pay to plays? You know, are you thinking management? Are you thinking agents? And you're on production rosters, right? So, I mean,
I
and
am
you're
on
also
production rosters. So far I've only been on Voices 123.
okay.
That's the main source. I am on a couple other ones, but the only one I pay for is Voices 123. And yes, I am on some production, and I do want to start getting more out there. The website, I thought it would be finished beforehand, but I have had a couple of hiccups due to the photographer and the makeup artist.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I froze or
Yeah, you froze a little bit, but you're okay. We could
yeah.
still hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. So I do have to improve on my marketing skills. I do know that. I do want to, I have to pick up that. Like I'm thinking about taking a couple of classes in marketing because that's my weakness. Like
Yeah.
I haven't learned how to really market myself
Yeah.
or my business. And yeah, that's my Achilles heel.
Yeah, it is. I have to get ready to start. Now that I refreshed my website and like rebranded, you know, like and dialed things up, which it's a lot, you know, like to put together a website and then like get out there and market. I'm planning on hopefully starting from Florida, you know what I'm saying? And then going into Southeast, you know, and finding regional agents, people that would be more boutique-y, you know, that would be more open to someone where I'm at in my career. Cause I've got like a book of like, you know, like proof is in the pudding, but I don't have any like major, like I don't have a Quaker Oats, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have like a big national campaign. Like I have
Don't put that in that category.
it's small. Well, but I mean, like going for bigger agents in like LA, New York, like that's where I'm at right now. Like I'm at a place in time where I've got my website. I went go big or go home. I rebranded, refreshed, hired a management company. I went to VoiceOver Atlanta this year. You know, like I'm in it to win it. And yeah, and and I'm ready to get on more production rosters that are actually sending me auditions, you know, and I know now like what I want to make daily, weekly, monthly, and how I have a business plan in place now as to like how I'm going to get there. Yeah, and then I know how many auditions I need to be doing now that I've like gotten over the fact that I was mad at that one platform. We won't, that's like a whole nother conversation, but yeah, so but it's like a whole thing, you know. So anyways, I'm taking over Angela's time. Angela.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's good. You can hear me better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I do apologize. Just like what Lloyd was saying, like, you know, family situations happening right now. I had to take somebody to a party and now I'm sitting in the car on a Zoom call. So that's where we're at right now. But yeah, I have so many ideas right now. One is for Lloyd, the whole BDBJ situation. That sounds like a good OnlyFans tag. I'm just saying.
That's a good strategy.
We're not going that
Yeah.
far. We're not going that far.
I mean, especially if you're going out on your own, you might need a little supplemental income.
Look, that is an act of desperation for me. We're not gonna. I will say.
That's funny.
Related to that comment, though, a funny thing that happened that no one will ever get to know. I did get an audition or a role or a character on something that is not safe for work.
Ooh, fancy.
And it was something I had to do when no one was home. Like I was like, we're doing this, no one is home. And it's funny because I'm just like, I don't have experience in this. And I'm like doing it and I go back to edit and I'm like, hold on. Like,
Who is this? Who is this? BDBJ making an appearance.
Oh my God.
You know, sometimes you just, look, you don't do anything for money, but they were looking specifically for Black voice actors. And I was like, somebody's going to get paid for it.
Yeah.
So,
might as well be you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good
Absolutely.
strategy. That's a good strategy.
But I totally get where you're coming from. Like
Well,
you said earlier, you
Yeah.
know, you live in a household with people and not all auditions are, you know, quiet or even appropriate. So you really have to like manage your time around your family and all this other stuff. So I totally get where you're coming from. Like it can be very hard to audition, especially when you do have a family that you have to, you know, worry about and take care of and make sure that they're good before you jump into your stuff too. And I think we all can relate to that, you know, as far as, you know, making sure our families are good before we jump into our own stuff, which is tough because you want to give yourself the best advantages possible. And that means auditioning every day and making sure you're cutting out time to do your practicing and to do all that stuff, but also balancing out the whole work life situation, you know, like it can be a lot. So I totally get where you're coming from. And you know, I hope the best for you when it comes to, you know, landing that apartment and, you know, getting on a good schedule for yourself and making sure that you're taking care of yourself as well. So, wishing you luck, bro. But I'm also on that same page too. Like I honestly can't tell you the last time I auditioned. It's probably been a good month at least, or two at least since I've auditioned. And I see all the auditions and I'm like, oh, I could totally do that, but I just don't go and do it. I just like there's other things that I got going on right now and I'm just not focused enough to sit down for a couple hours and do my audition, you know, work. And it's just tough. It can be tough. And I think that's the one struggle that I think all of our coaches have really tried to put that into our learning, is that when you do this freelance, you have to do it. Otherwise it's not, you know, nothing's going to happen. You have to get in there. You have to be in the booth. You have to get those auditions in and make sure that you're getting your voice out there. You know, going back to the whole idea of making sure that you have like these big names on your portfolio and stuff like that. Like, yeah, Quaker Oats is a big company, but like, you know, I think if an agent were to look at the situation and to look at the contract that I signed and stuff like that, they're going to be like, oh, this is peanuts. You know, I think you having your voice on, you know, multiple brands, regardless if it's a Quaker Oats or if it's, you know, something small, like a local, you know, mower or whatever it is. That I don't know why I thought of mowing, but you know,
like a funeral home or like, like a funeral home, you know? Or like a hardware store or something like that.
Exactly. You know, I think the fact that you can put your voice to different brands and still be a good, you know, VO person, regardless of how popular that brand is. I think it's better to have more than quantity over quality. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Is that maybe not? Because I think we do need quality. We definitely need quality. Quantity with quality. How about that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's definitely a balance you have to have.
Yeah.
For that in every aspect, right? Because it's like, okay, well, auditioning is a numbers game.
Yeah.
Like
it is.
You can be the best voice in the world subjectively, and if you're not auditioning as much as the guy, you know, across the street who's auditioning 4 hours instead of your 30 minutes, you're not going to get as many auditions. You're not going to get as many roles.
Absolutely. And
and
that's
I
how I feel when I see my auditions. I apologize. You know, when I see those auditions, I'm like, I can totally do that. And I'm missing out on 100% of these auditions because I'm not trying. I'm not even trying to get to those auditions. And, you know, like I said, I have other things going on right now that are taking my attention away, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
totally okay.
But, you know, I do really need to get back on a schedule and get my my auditions in there.
Well, I think and for me too, like I actually took a little pause, you know, from the holidays to traveling, illness. We had a big chunk of illness through the winter time and trying to get back in. And with one of the platforms just kind of going a little bit berserker, you know, that was my main platform that I would go to get auditions for. And I just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. So I kind of took a pause for a second. I realized that the other platform that I'd like to get auditions from, I need to spend more money to get the better auditions, and I'm not there yet. That's like a decision I'm gonna have to make in the fall. I'm gonna have to decide, do I, you know, which platforms are working for me and which are not, and then I'm gonna have to like cut some off, cut some out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And another reason why I went with the management company is because I wanted to be able to have access to you know, auditions, you know, like good quality auditions, you know, that to me is where I've been focused on as well, you know, because I feel like I've been I mean, there's a third that needs to be pay to play, a third needs to be agents in production, and a third needs to be your organic. That's what I've through, you know, what they're saying on this, you know, like audition, like coaches and casting directors and different people that have been in the industry for a long time. Like it's a third, a third, a third, you know? And so for me personally, going with a management company and being able to sort of level myself up by also being around other people that are leveled up, you know, kind of helps you to increase your quality, I guess, you know? And so that's
Yeah.
kind of like where I'm at right now too. But I haven't been auditioning regularly on the pay to play sites because of like all the drama that's been happening. And that's like a whole nother conversation. I don't have to get into it. But I'm just now starting to get back into the pay to play auditions. It's like not my priority. My priority kind of goes from the production company that sends me regular gigs that I get paid for to bunny work. Bunny's been blowing up. It's been hopping. I have like made more money on the bunny in the last like 2 months, you know, and it's like we're talking Spotify, like we're talking like cool shit, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny how the universe like brings stuff to you because ever since VO Atlanta, I'm like, I think I want to get into radio imaging. And then all of a sudden, you know, that's what I'm getting sent, you know, and so
Yeah.
that's fun. But like it's starting to drip faster, you know, like, but I needed to drip, like I need like a waterfall. Like I need to score like a big gig, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I am auditioning regularly on camera. That's easy for me. I'm always constantly filling that bucket. I'm constantly on Actors Access, on Backstage, casting networks. I'm constantly looking at my email, going through, you know, diligently going through my email, looking to see like, oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, I fit those specs. Send in my demo, you know? Oh, that's interesting. I fit those specs. That's pretty cool. I could do that. I could travel there. It fits in my boundaries, like submit, you know? And so constantly filling that bucket is getting me self-tape requests, you know? And that's why what I did earlier with assistant producer Frankie, who's not on mic right now, but you know, and that's how you get the balls rolling, you know, is being consistent, strategizing, thinking ahead, and, you know, making goals daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, you know. Even working with a management company, that really got my brain thinking, oh my God, I'm not just a voiceover person. I have a freaking business.
Yep.
I need to look at this like this is a business, you know? And I really needed to like fully step into that, you know, and
Yeah.
really come up with a
Right.
business plan, you know, how much do you need to make daily? How much do you need to make weekly? How much do you need to make monthly? Right? How are you going to get there? What are the steps you're going to take? And if you can't do it on your own, farm it out like I did, you know, if you have the resources or you have, you know, the savings or a credit card You know,
face.
I mean, it's not for everybody, but you know, I mean, there's different levels. That's just my thought process. You know, it's not for everybody, but that's my journey, you know, and it's the route that I'm taking. Yeah. Gaby has something to say.
No, I just think it's awesome. All of us, like, I know each one of your guys' stories, and so seeing where you started and seeing where you're going, even if you're not auditioning, because you know, life happens. I wanted to audition 7 times a day, and I can barely fit 5 auditions in a day. You know, I don't audition as much as I would like to because of life.
So
I have to
hard.
take my son to all of his classes and everything. And then, you know, I got stuff going on over here. So, but you're still in it, you know, your heart is still in it. And I can see that, Angela. And I think that's what's important. Like, even when you have all these obstacles and difficulties going on, the fact that you still want to be here, you still want to try is really important. You still want to grind.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is the ultimate goal for me, is like to just, you know, I think we've said this millions of times, like, I want to make a living at what I'm doing with this, you know, I want to make a living. And it's I didn't expect to make a living within the first, you know, 6 months of starting this. So it makes sense that it's taking a little longer to get where I want to go. And, you know, I have to take certain steps. And of course, you know, money wise, it's not the best. Like, I was looking at some of the classes that they were offering for the place that we've trained at. And I was like, ooh, were they always this expensive? Why? You know, like,
where's the sale?
You know, exactly. Where's the sale? Like, before, I was able just to pick up class and be like, oh yeah, I totally want to do that, regardless of the amount. But you know, life has put me in a different position now, and I'm like, oh, you can't take that today, or you know, I can't take that this month, or I'll try it next month, or whatever. So, you know, you just kind of have to go with the flow. But overall, the idea of, you know, I want to be here regardless of what's going on in my life. I want to be in this position and be this person. You know, I think that's the overall goal, is to try and make that happen versus making, you know, I got so and so many gigs this month. You know, I think for me, it's just like, I want to just be that professional person, regardless of how many gigs I made that month. So
it's hard.
Definitely.
It's hard balancing work life. You know, I'm lucky. Like, I actually, thinking back, I probably wouldn't have made those bold moves that I made if my husband hadn't gotten, you know, he hadn't gotten a better job. And then, like, come to find out, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be Voice Over Atlanta. Yeah, I'm going to hire a management company. Yeah, I'm going to refresh my website. And it's like, yay. And all of a sudden, it's like there's a whole lot of drama and craziness happening behind the scenes with my husband's job that makes things unstable. And, you know, so I think looking back, I might not have made those decisions if I had thought that things weren't going to be stable. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in my second year, and he's like, you got to go for it. You know, like, we were like, you got to go for it. And I was like, I can go for it if you're stable with your job, you know, while I slowly have things trickle in. And Angela, I have to tell you, the car industry is worse than the radio industry. Let me tell you. I mean, and it's you know, but at the same time, you know me, it's one foot in front of the other. I started this journey. I'm on this path. I'm going to see it through. But in 3 months, I'm going to have to make some hard decisions. That's my strategy, you know? That's
but you know what? I like to think of things the way things happen. You know, they fall in place for a reason, and that's how it's supposed to be. And maybe you did take these, you know, chances that you wouldn't have taken normally, and maybe they will work out for the best. Like, maybe the reason why you took these now will like, it will eventually turn into something good, especially if there is some, you know, turbulence going on with your husband and things like that. Maybe these, you know, steps that you took now will show that they were a good move, you know? So maybe it all work out like that.
It better, because I'm in Lloyd's bucket too. Because it's like the amount of money that I invested, I could have.
Yeah.
Man, that has been a source of contention this past couple of weeks at this house, but we're gonna move past that. The amount of money that could have gone to other things.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, you were about to add something. I was about to kind of, the train track was gonna
You're
curve
gonna,
a little
you're
bit.
gonna go off. I was gonna just say, it's like, you set these intentions and you have these strategies when you first get your demo. Like, I know how many auditions I need to do a day. And, and at first it's like easy to accomplish, but then you have kids, you have husbands, you have family, you have dogs, you have life shit that happens. My whole family, we were sick for 6 to 8 weeks, like nonstop. I could only do the bare minimum, this winter. And when I went to go get back into it, like, it was the one platform was just like bonkers. Like there were like, or, I couldn't even get an audition in under 80, auditions. That's definitely changed a little bit. And that's like a whole other conversation. But yeah, that's what, so and like, but yeah, you really do need to like set goals for yourself and readjust as you go along. And you're right, Angela. Sometimes you have to make bold decisions and take risks and chances. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but there's always a positive inside there. Go ahead, Lloyd. What were you going to say? Take us on the railroad.
Well, well, on the I guess topic of bold decisions, and I don't know necessarily if it's bold decisions, but Gaby was talking about marketing a little bit earlier on, and I was wondering like, how are you guys with like I haven't started direct marketing like that, right? But last week, people in one of our group chats, talk about direct marketing and stuff, and I haven't done it because I didn't have my demo, don't have a website, whatever. But for my improv show, I told our group that I was going to commit to getting 8 people to show up. And last week, I went crazy. Like I was reposting stuff that was made, posting some content. But then I started individually messaging people on like Facebook, texting them, like people I haven't talked to since high school. And like I'm sitting there and I'm like, these people are people I don't talk to. I'm inviting them anyway. And then I thought back to like a month and a half before that, we got invited to perform for First Friday, which is an event that happens downtown, and at one point they told us we could go like bark like carnival barking, like, hey, this show's happening over here, blah 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 blah. And we went out with like these little flyers, and it's like this thing where there's all these people, and it's like you have to like interrupt people's walks, whatever, and it's awkward. And at one point, I was just like, fuck it. I'm more concerned with us being successful than I am me feeling awkward in front of these people.
Yeah.
And my thought about that in regards to like direct marketing is a lot of the time the conversation isn't like, should I do it? It's how do I do it in a way that like appeals to the person I'm emailing or what have it.
That's
And
like
it's
a
like
whole conversation.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there are more people out there who can provide you with opportunities than you will ever be able to email. And at the end of the day, the answer is always going to be one of 2 things. So like, just send the email.
Yeah.
That's what I've been telling myself. Like once I get my computer set up, and
Yeah.
actually I don't even need to have my computer set up. I can do it from my phone, and I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm going on what, like almost a year and a half at this point, I think. Jocelyn, you're at a year, past a year?
Yeah, no, you're already in year 2.
Am I in year 2?
Yeah,
I don't even know at this point.
Yeah, you're like heading into year
But
3,
the thing is, if
maybe.
I'm in year 2, I still have not even thought about direct marketing or stuff like that, just because like I don't know if it's me holding myself back saying, okay, I'm definitely not ready for, something like that. Or is it the idea of, how do I approach this? Or am I going to make everybody feel uncomfortable? Like what Lloyd's just saying, like I definitely, just like Gaby said, like direct marketing is a thorn in my side. I'm not excited about it. I don't want to do it,
Yeah.
but I know it's going to help in the long run. And, you know, I have to commend you, Joz, like you do a really good job at marketing yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know, regardless of just the small little snippets that you throwing out on social media or whatever it is, you do a great job at marketing. And I've never been good at that, whether it was in this kind of position or, you know, even when I worked on the radio, like I hated telling people, oh, we're going to be at a bar night, come and see us. No, I hate that stuff. Don't come and see me.
Ah, we should,
So, like,
sorry, go ahead, finish your
I
thought.
was just gonna say it's a thorn in my side. Direct marketing or, you know, marketing myself. Like I've never liked doing that. I've never liked putting attention on myself. But in the long run, that's what's gonna build my business, and I have to swallow. Like I just have to swallow it and just do what I have to do. You know.
Yeah. I
Right.
think that like that should be our next conversation. You know, I think we should like,
Mhm.
I think that should be
Agreed.
our next conversation. We should pick this back up like the next time we meet and talk about like our marketing strategies, where we're at in our careers, you know, and
Yeah.
like what we need to do. Cause like it's gonna be different for Lloyd, then it's gonna be different for you and different for me and different for Gaby, you know. But I think like ultimately, if you're gonna be a creative, like coming up with a game plan, you know, and readjusting and changing it as you go, and also giving yourself grace and knowing that like you're going to have to adjust it as you go, and you're
Yeah.
going to have to also remember that life happens and you can always pick back up where you need to, you know, but to like give yourself some grace, because you
Totally.
know, what you think is going to happen isn't necessarily going to happen when you think it's going to happen. And
Right.
patience, being
Right.
patient too, you know, is big. All right. Well, our assistant producer Frankie has given us we're at the 45 mark, so that's why I'm wrapping
Wrap
things up.
up.
We're
Mm.
wrapping it up, and yeah. So, anybody else have any like last minute things that they want to say, or quick little things that they want to say? You know, about strategy.
About strategy,
You know, like just a quick thought. Yeah.
but I do want to say that like you're gonna have ups and downs, and the lows might be really low. Like you might want to quit and forget
Mhm.
this whole thing and think you're a complete failure.
Amen.
Say it
But
again.
if your heart's really in it, that'll just pass.
It's true.
And if you have a group full of friends that will support you and keep you motivated and be like, no, you really want this. This is just
Yeah.
your, you know, this little voice in your head that's trying to convince you that you suck, but you don't.
Yeah.
I think it's important not to give up on yourself if you really love this, if you really like this. Like I
Sure.
said, it's hard. You are going to have ups and downs, and sometimes you're not even going to have time
Mhm.
to audition and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But if
I
this
just
is
want
what
to
you really want,
I was just going to point out, like, I think that's a great idea to put towards any kind of entrepreneurship. Like, regardless if you're a creative, if you're a VO, if you're on camera actor, whatever it is, or if you're just trying to start your business. I think a lot of people go into entrepreneurship thinking like, okay, I got a game plan, I got my business plan, but you know, sometimes you don't anticipate the, you know, the downfalls, like a pipe bursting or something like that, you know, and it makes you want to quit. But you just got to remember, if your heart's in it, just like Gaby said, you know, you're just going to have to get over that bump. Entrepreneurship is not a straight road. It's hills and valleys.
Oh my God.
exactly.
I almost quit the other week. That's what Gabby's referring to. I almost quit. I almost threw in the towel. I literally paid for
Yeah.
someone to tell me that I sucked. And I was like, that's it. I'm over. I'm over it. That's not what happened. But that's like, we'll talk about that another time.
Sure. You were just in a valley. It's okay.
Oh, it's like a roller freaking coaster.
It is.
It is.
Definitely is.
It is.
Mhm.
It's like a roller
Yeah.
coaster. Okay. Well, let's talk about marketing next time then. Like,
Cool.
talk about our game plans and our goals for marketing and like all that good stuff. Cause you know, I love my TikToks and my reels.
You are a
Okay.
natural at marketing.
You are.
You are our PR. And so the last time we spoke, I remember you were giving me tips and everything. I'm like, this is amazing. I need to take a class from you.
Funny. Oh God, that's too much. I don't want to teach anybody anything. Barely parent my kids. Okay.
But it's just you're a natural, so it comes easy to you. So everything that you were telling me, it's something that I wasn't even thinking about. So we definitely need to do